Good evening and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It is Tuesday the 25th of January and it's 7 o'clock in the evening. If you're watching live, then don't hesitate to ask any questions or comment and let me know that you're here. If you're watching on replay or you're watching this on YouTube, which is uploaded later in the day, then if you have any queries, questions or comments, just pop them in the comment section on YouTube and I monitor those on a regular basis and we'll get back to you if there's anything that needs answering, or just to say hi and thank you for your comment. So today we're having a complete change. Hi Katie, thanks for joining us. And we're going to be using a stamp called Tulip Fields. It's this one here. Try not to get it too much in the light. I'll bring it up a little bit, like so. You can find this on page 17 of our January to June catalogue, and it features a stamp set. There are some dies and there's also coordinating papers that go with this as well. So let me show you the card that we're going to be making, and this is just pure stamping this evening. Let's move the glue out of the way. So we're going to be recreating this card. Now I've got two variations of it, if you can see those. This one here has got spacing between the sets of tulips. This one here, the tulips are closer together. So it just depends on the look that you prefer, really. There's nothing much to choose between them otherwise. Hi Babsy, thanks for joining us this evening. This one has got a windmill that's been die cut, and this one, the windmill is sitting on the horizon. And there's a very good reason for this being die cut, and that's because I stamped the fields first and didn't allow enough space for that windmill to be sitting on the horizon. So I stamped it on a separate piece of card, coloured it in, and then die cut it out and popped it back in. So that was another reason. So you do want to leave space for your windmill. So what you could do is start by stamping the windmill. So I'm going to give that a go this time round. Do it completely back to front. But I'm going to start with the windmill to give me the spacing for the top of the field. Now the tulips themselves are done in two sections, two stamps if you like. This one here is one stamp that consists of the two pieces on either side, and that creates this purple layer here. This triangle piece is the one that we've used going round in here. Okay, this would also make a wonderful Christmas tree or topiary tree as well in its own right. It's got some detail in it, just tiny little sort of tulips and shapes, leaves and things like that. So I also have the windmill stamp at the ready, and then some of the other stamps that you get with this set are the tree, which I've stamped here, and then these this little hedge, which is like three tiny little pieces, and that's perfect for creating scenes with. So that's what we're going to do this evening. So I'm going to start with a piece of basic white card. Let's move this up. Hopefully that will, if I put those right at the top, there we go, you'll be able to see them. So let's try this one back to front. Oh, sorry, I've just realised my dog's underneath the table. Sorry, Cassie. I didn't mean to kick you. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do for this one, and that is stamp the windmill first. But if you were doing it this way round, all you need to do is measure the height of the windmill and then start your layer underneath that. And we did measure this in class, and I think we worked it out to be 5 centimetres. Yeah, just a little over 5 centimetres as the height from here to here. But let's do this one without any measuring. So I'm going to ink up the windmill and stamp it in the centre of my panel, close to the top, so that I can put the flowering fields, if you like, underneath. Now I'm going to take my glasses off and hopefully get this. I do want to get this fairly straight, that would be helpful, so apologies that you won't be able to see all of the detail, but hopefully that will be straight enough. There it is. So there's my windmill. It's very cute indeed. Let me just wipe that off. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is do the horizon line with this one here, and now I can use the bottom of the windmill for this line here. Now what you could do if you wanted to is just do a little sort of hand-drawn line here where the windmill is sitting to make it look like the horizon, but I'm just going to go ahead and stamp. But I think that would be quite a nice touch as well. Okay, put my glasses on, see who's joined us. Okay, so my phone is not telling me anything, which is most bizarre, isn't it? Because I know that you're here. I wish it was, I wish Facebook was a little bit more consistent and they didn't stop changing things quite so frequently. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to choose, I think, I've just got a selection of colours here. I'm not going to use all of them, but I've got Melon Mambo, Gorgeous Grape, Coastal Cabana, Fresh Freesia, and Old Olive I'm going to use for the tree. So let's start with Gorgeous Grape across the top. You could, if you wanted to, ink up these two separately with two different colours, but I'm just going to ink up the whole thing. So just be careful, because obviously it's there's a lot of open area, and I'm using the large block. This is just checking that, yeah, an I block. If you don't have a block big enough, you could use a Stamparatus, and that would be perfect if you want to do a whole set of these, because you could have this, you could have the windmill and then these in exactly the right position. Hi Brenda, thanks for joining us. We're doing tulips this evening, as you might gather. Tulips and windmills. Okay, so I'm just going to add this stamp. Just taking time to line it up. Now what I should have done really was put one of my piercing mats underneath, but I think I've got away with it. I definitely got away with it. Okay, so let's clear this one off. Okay, and now I'm going to use this triangle stamp to work my way round. Okay, and I tend to do one that way and one that way, but you can just work around one side and back up the other. It depends on whether how much you're changing colours, I would say. So let's change to Melon Mambo next to this one. If I can get it open. Okay, now I am going to introduce the mat, okay, which I should have done before really. Okay, now this layer, what I didn't tell you was that I've cut this to size. Got ink on my fingers already. And this is 9.5 centimetres by 13.85, and I'm going to layer this onto a piece of gorgeous grape. That's why I chose the gorgeous grape colour for the ink there, and then that's going to go onto a white card. So far we've just stamped across there and the windmill, and we started with the windmill so that we know it's going to fit in across the top. Okay, so try to make sure everything is roughly clean. So I'm going to ink up this one, and this is Melon Mambo. So, and you can either have a gap between them, or you can have them nestled close together. So this is close together and this is with a gap, and I think they both work. This one looks like obviously different sets of rows. This one is all, you know, in together, so it's really up to you. I'm going to put these close together, and so all you want to do is pop the stamp in, and as you're positioning it, you want to see that it's almost overlapping the stamp underneath. Okay, like so. And I think I'm just going to change colours as we go around, just for something different, because the others have all got coordinating rows. So this next one I'm going to do with Coastal Cabana. Like so. So just making sure that's well inked. And this is an F. Oh no, it's not. It's an E block. Okay. So I'm just going to turn that round so it's easier for me to see. And again, butting it up quite close, and it doesn't matter if it overlaps slightly. There we go. So there's that one there. Clean our stamp off and change colours. Okay, what have we got here? So I've got a fresh freesia. I think it'd be quite nice to have a yellow in there. Let me just grab a yellow. So I've got, oh, this is mango. I was thinking it was Daffodil Delight, but mango will do. So I hope everybody is well. And thank you for joining me of an evening. I know evenings suit some people more than others, so I appreciate you joining me anytime. And also if you can, watch on catch up as well. Okay, so here is Mango Melody. And let's just ink this one up and lay it over. And I'm really just doing this by sight. I'm not, certainly not measuring it. There we go. Oh, I meant to do that on that side. Never mind. Let's add, Balmy Blue on the right hand side and then Fresh Fuchsia at the bottom. Or Pool Party would also work. So just making sure you're cleaning this in between if you're changing colours. If you're not changing colours, it doesn't matter. Make sure that's fairly dry. And then I've got Balmy Blue. This is quite a light colour. Just want to try it on here. Okay, yep, that's going to work. Let's just turn this over. I wasn't sure if this was going to be too light. So I hope everybody's had a good day. Oh, hi Kerry, good morning to you in Australia. Let's see what Kerry's got to say. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Kerry. I really appreciate that. I wondered if, if it was at a different time, you wouldn't have the problem. So, bless you. Right, just make sure that's inked up enough. Enjoy the replay anyway when you get there. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this round. Take my glasses off again. And then again, positioning that in there, like so. And I've got space left. And that's going to be for my Fresh Fuchsia. And I think this is going to have a little bit of a gap. So we'll have a look and see. So I can either deliberately make a little path, or I can mask it and add it in. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab a post-it note, mask off the top, and then move this up till I've got more of that area to cover, if that makes any sense. Let's grab a piece of post-it note over here. Let's see. Yeah, so now I can position this a little bit further up, and then it doesn't matter that the top disappears onto the post-it note. And I just want to stamp this on here as well. Yeah. See what the colour looks like. What I actually did on this one was leave the bottom central triangle And then I use post-it notes to mask this off, and just use some brown ink on my blending brush to make it look like a little path. So that'd be another way round this last one not quite fitting. But let's give this one a go. So I am actually going to mask this off either side. Just so that I don't go mad and get it everywhere. So now I can put this in much further up and know it's going to fit or fill that gap, hopefully. We'll see. There we go. There we are. Okay, so there we've got our windmill and a whole series of coloured layers for our tulips. And this little design has got little tulip heads and little flowers and things in. So now what we're going to do is just build up the skyline. So on this one I stamped a tree and some of the bushes, and on this one I did the same. I also added the clouds, so there are some cloud stamps in here, and I'm also going to use a blue blending brush to introduce a bit of cloud, but I'm going to stamp the trees and everything first. See how we get on. These are great stamps for creating your own scenes, even without the windmill. Hi Tracy, thanks for joining us. So I think I'm going to put the tree on this side just for a change, and I'm going to use, I think, Old Olive. Let me just ink this and have a look. So that's hardly got anything on it. We did this scene in class this afternoon. Let's try Garden Green. And this card didn't actually form part of my class in a box, because obviously you need the stamps to create this one. I think what I'm going to do is I might stamp this off. Yeah, so it's not quite as vibrant. So I'm going to stamp it once and stamp it on there, but going off the edge of the page to make it look a little bit more realistic. And I think what I'm going to do is the same on the left, but just literally have this very edge on there, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to add these fab little bushes, and again I'm just going to stamp those off, and I need to take my glasses off, I apologise. And these are like little sort of trees in the on the skyline. They're very cute. There we go. Okay, let me lift that up so you can see it. Okay, so now I'm going to colour in the windmill just with a little bit of light blends pen, and add in a little bit of sky as well. So for my sky, I've just got a blending brush that's got blue on it. Now we've used it in class this afternoon, so there's some left on there. So I'm just going to introduce some of that. In small patches. This was Coastal Cabana because I didn't have any balmy blue, but I'm going to add in some balmy blue, a lighter blue. Like so. This is very light. I do have to say that the blending brushes are great. Absolutely love them. But they can pick up a fair bit of ink. So if you're thinking, oh, hold on a minute, my inks aren't lasting as long as they used to, that's probably why, if you're using them with blending brushes. So don't think suddenly your ink pads have just gone dry on their own accord. Okay, so just using that, bring it over there. Hopefully you can see a little bit of that sky if I bring it up really close, like so. Okay, so I'm just going to colour in the windmill, and I'm just going to use light crumb cake, maybe a bit of dark crumb cake just around the edges. Glasses are coming off, excuse me, and a little sip of coffee. Okay, so this is dark crumb cake, and I stamped this in soft suede. Light crumb cake. The tops have got switched over, if you can see that. So this is dark crumb cake. I'll sort those tops. I was thinking it was very light. I'll sort those tops out in a minute. I've got one of each. Like so. And a little bit on here. Like that. And I'm just going to use the light on the sails themselves. Just down that line like that. And I'm going to turn this basically so that I'm drawing that in the same direction each time. Like so. And then I'm just going to bring in that light crumb cake. And it's up to you how you colour this bit in the middle, whether you leave it white. You can change the colour of the door. It's really up to you. I might leave the door white. And then just blending that over like that. There we go. Now I like this panel at the bottom, so I don't really want to cover it up. So I'm not actually going to put a sentiment on this. I will maybe add a sentiment inside, or maybe I will just leave it. I mean, it could work as a good happy birthday, couldn't it? So let's just add a little bit more of that. And if you had any missing bits, you could use a pen to fill it in, or you could use a brush just to go over it. Really up to you. Okay, so we're going to pop this onto a layer and then onto a white card, which I have under here somewhere. Here it is. So this is my white card. Let's take this out of the way. Hello, Cassie. Cassie's back. Hello, darling. Okay, so just adding a layer of glue across the back. So a thin layer all the way over, but not right around the edges. And then just slide it into position like so. And I chose Gorgeous Grape for my backing, as I've got Gorgeous Grape here on either side. And then here is my white card. Before I stick that on the front, I'm going to put a windmill on the inside. And this is soft suede. Let me just bring that mat back in. And just position that. Sorry, you can't quite see that. There we go. There we are. And it's going to add those bushes on either side. So this is garden green, because my old olive was somewhat pale and insignificant. So soak this off. So like so. There we go. I'm going to pop that on the front, and that is our card completed for today. So the stamp set is called Tulip Fields. It's just £17 and it's photopolymer. Makes it really easy to see through and line up. And as I say, there's lots of things you could do with this stamp here. So I'll be doing some more with that for the rest of this week. And the matching set of papers and dies is what I've used for this month's class in a box. So I'm not going to be doing those cards, but I will show you the cards at the end if you haven't. If you have not, I think most of you have probably already seen them anyway in one of my earlier Facebook lives. So there we go, there's today's card using Tulip Fields. I think this would be lovely with a sunset behind it, so I might have a go at that. So you could stamp even without the fields here, just stamp the windmill with a scene and mask it off and have some a sunset effect. So that might be on the cards, and then this is the inside. Like so. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the card. Thank you so much for joining me. So I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, in the morning at 10 a.m. So I hope you're able to join me then. And if you have any questions or queries on what we've created today, then don't hesitate to put a comment on and I'll answer them and get back to you. So thank you, Tracy, I appreciate that. Sorry we missed you live, Kerry and Brenda, Babsy and Katie, thank you as well. And to anybody else who's been watching who hasn't said hi, and also to anybody who's watching who's not logged into Facebook or you're watching later on, catch up. So this was the stamp set. I'll leave you with that. Hopefully that's not reflecting too much. I'll just move that up a little bit. There we go. I'll have to put that over there to the side. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I look forward to crafting with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Take care. Have a good evening for those that are watching live. And I look forward to catching up with you really soon. Thank you, Katie. Thanks, Babsy, Tracy, and everybody else for your kind comments. Bye for now.